Welcome back to the weekend. We start this hour with an alarming statement from Donald Trump. In a post online, Trump said yesterday, "He who saves his country does not violate any law." Now, that's a line, folks, of, that's often attributed to Napoleon Bonaparte, the French general who staged a military coup before declaring himself emperor. More than 200 years later, Trump isn't using the military, but the legal system to bend America to his will. As the Brennan Center describes it, he's trying to turn the Justice Department into his own private law enforcement agency. Joining us now is founder of Democracy Docket and partner at Elias Law Group, Mark Elias.
Mark Elias, we were debating this morning whether that quote from Trump had come from the Old Testament or the New Testament or the Book of Donald. Now we know it came from Napoleon Bonaparte. That kind of tells you all you need to know, right?
That's exactly right. I mean, I'm sure Donald Trump doesn't know where it came from, but yes, that's exactly right. It is the statement of a dictator being uttered, or in this case, written on social media by a wannabe dictator. We have known that he wants to be a dictator because he has told us that. He said he wanted to be a dictator on day one. Well, he took a number of actions that were consistent with that. We know that he said that you don't have to worry about elections in the future. Well, I think we're going to see, unfortunately, more of him attacking free and fair elections as we move through the year. But he is acting as if somehow number one, he is saving the country rather than destroying it. But number two, that he is above the law. And in this country, no man is above the law. Even Donald Trump is not above the law. He may have immunity from criminal prosecution, but that doesn't mean he doesn't have to comply with court orders. And he is losing in case after case after case. And I suspect that frustration is showing up in some of his posts on social media.
And that frustration, Mark, is showing up in other areas as well. To your point about the fact that he's losing these cases, you now have reporting from Axios that Republicans, you remember them, right? They're now moving to impeach judges who blocked Trump. Quote, House Republicans are planning to introduce long-shot articles of impeachment against at least two of the federal judges who have blocked President Trump's efforts to upend the federal government. The measures are part of a growing public conflict between Republicans and the federal judiciary as Trump bristles at obstacles to his government efficiency agenda. Mark, this is, you've got the agreement by members of our United States Congress sitting in office, having sworn an oath because they don't like the rulings of a judge. They're now going to want to impeach those judges. In fact, Representative Andrew Clyde, his office confirmed he's working on articles of impeachment against Judge John McConnell Jr., who ordered the administration lift its federal spending freeze. You have Eli Crane of Arizona planning to introduce impeachment articles against Judge Paul Engelmeyer, who blocked DOJ from accessing Treasury records. DOJ doesn't have any rights to those Treasury records. The Republicans know that, and yet and still, they want to go after the judges who are trying to uphold the rule of law.
Yeah, the greatest scandal going on in America today is actually not, believe it or not, what Donald Trump is doing. It is what Republicans in Congress have done, which is to completely give up their role in the constitutional system as any sort of check on the executive branch. People ask whether we're in a constitutional crisis. If we are close to a constitutional crisis or approaching a constitutional crisis, that is as much on Speaker Johnson and John Thune as it is on anyone else, because our Constitution assumes that members of Congress will jealously guard their prerogatives. If you are the Speaker of the House, you care more about your power as Speaker than you do anything else. If you are the majority leader of the Senate, you care more about senatorial prerogatives than anything else. And rather than doing that, rather than standing up for their institutions, they just ask how further they can bow, how much further their knee can bend, how much more they can debase themselves, how much more supplicant they can be to Donald Trump. And that is a tragedy for democracy. And so their attacks on the federal judiciary here are not founded in some genuine belief on their part of institutional prerogative to impeach. It is founded on an effort to simply do whatever Donald Trump wants them to do. And our system of government doesn't allow for that to happen and to remain healthy.
Well, Mark, isn't it also rooted in this idea that if you attack and delegitimize the judiciary under the guise of, what do they use the term, lawfare, or that these are activist judges, right? It makes it more believable for people to say, well, yeah, then Donald Trump should be going along with these rulings. It makes it easier for you to then ignore the law and do more unlawful things and ignore rulings from judges if you have delegitimized the courts, just like what they did with the election process. They tricked all these people into believing that the 2020 election was rigged, even to the point where now to this day, people still think it was rigged. So if they did that to the elections, why wouldn't we believe they would be able to do that to our judicial system?
Oh, I think they are doing that to the judicial system. And I think, Simone, you're entirely right. That is their motivation, right? The Republicans are attacking these judges because they want to remove the last checks on Donald Trump's power. I mean, Congress is not checking Donald Trump's power. The only people checking Donald Trump's power right now are federal judges. And so you now see an all-out attack by every aspect of the Republican Party, from both the White House to the outside punditries and social media to Republican members of Congress who are attacking federal judges because they stand in the way of Donald Trump being a complete authoritarian. And mark my words, you mentioned elections. Mark my words. We are going to see an attack on free and fair elections like we have not seen before, because that is another check on Donald Trump, right? The check on Donald Trump is that Republicans get defeated and Democrats take control of Congress. So stay tuned and watch out for that.
Well, and as all of that is happening, just last night, we're learning that the Justice Department fired multiple immigration judges. From that reporting, the Department of Justice fired multiple immigration judges on Friday, according to two sources familiar with the decision, and a statement from one of the judges on LinkedIn. The move threatens to throw sand in the gears of an already strained immigration system as the Trump administration moves to rapidly reshape the federal workforce. So you have them, Mark, screaming their heads off about how our immigration system is broken. I agree it is broken. One of the things that is broken is that you have a backlog because you actually do not have enough immigration judges to process asylum seekers, et cetera, that are showing up at the U.S.-Mexico border. So they are making a problem that they already believe is bad worse. If I follow your logic, and that is in the name of their replacing those judges, potentially with judges that are willing to let Donald Trump do whatever it is that he wants, then one can only anticipate the violation of civil liberties that is about to ensue.
Absolutely. So, I wrote about this on Democracy Docket. We need to be clear about distinguishing the two strains going on within Trumpism right now. One, embodied by Elon Musk, is to empty out the federal government. It is to fire people, make government less efficient, interestingly, to break government, right? To have there be fewer people doing the public business. That is not the only strain, though, within the Trump world. The other strain is to refill the government with people who are Trump loyalists, with people who are Trump sycophants. We have seen that playing out now in the Department of Justice. We are going to see that playing out in the FBI, and you are entirely right. We are seeing that play out with these administrative judicial positions, these administrative judges, people like immigration judges, where they want not to remove the total number of these people, which may be, like I said, part of the Musk plan. The Trump plan is to put in his sycophants, his loyalists, who will simply do his bidding. It's why he put Kash Patel at the FBI. It's why Pam Bondi is at the Department of Justice. It's why Kristi Noem is at HHS. It is why Pete Hegseth is at the Department of Defense, because these are the positions that Donald Trump wants to control, with people who will execute his orders without question.
And then, of course, along the way, Mark, he wants to pick up a little loose friends, like loose change in his pocket. And having someone like Eric Adams in his pocket is profoundly important in this process as well, because as we're seeing more and more prosecutors out of DOJ being pressured to sign off on this reprieve, if you will, of Mayor Adams. You have Hagan Scotton resigning in protest, noting any assistant U.S. attorney would know that our laws and traditions do not allow using the prosecutorial power to influence other citizens, much less elected officials, in this way. If no lawyer within earshot of the president is willing to give him that advice, then I expect you will eventually find someone who is enough of a fool or enough of a coward to file your motion. But it was never going to be me. So they found their fool and their coward to do just that. Speak to us what this says. In light of everything else that we've already talked about that's happening, you now have, this situation with the mayor avoiding prosecution because he's apparently, through his lawyers, offered up a quid pro quo deal where he will allow the president's immigration team to run amok in New York for what? What does he get out of it? Oh, that's right. They're not going to prosecute him.
Yeah, look, I think that when the history of this time is written, oftentimes we think about history being written about big events, elections or protests or wars. But history is also embodied oftentimes in what is in writing, in letters. George Washington's first address was not actually, George Washington's farewell address was not actually something he delivered orally. It was a letter that he wrote to the American people. Albert Einstein wrote a famous letter to FDR warning that Germany was building a bomb, and that led to the Manhattan Project. Of course, probably one of the most famous letters in American history, letter from a Birmingham jail, transformed and changed America's view of the civil rights movement. And the letters that we saw out of these prosecutors in New York are doing incredible work in the cause of democracy. Well, the language you just read showed a moral clarity by a conservative Federalist Society individual who was a federal prosecutor who simply refused to do the bidding of Donald Trump and the Department of Justice. And he didn't just resign. He didn't just refuse to sign. He did it loudly. He did it standing up proudly in the town square. And how many times have we talked about the importance of that? The importance of people not going quietly, but people being willing to risk themselves by standing up in public and saying, Donald Trump, you are not a dictator. Donald Trump, what you are doing is not legal, it is not lawful, and I'm not going to abide by it. And those of you who have been appointed by him to carry out his wishes, shame on you. Go find another coward. Go find another fool.